Hey guys, it's April 24th. Feeling pretty good. The reason mainly is because I have not taken my chemo pill for the last 2 days, and I haven't taken my chemo pill for the last 2 days because I feel freaking fantastic compared to the way I normally feel, and it's kind of nice to feel good once in a while. Um, Hate to don't want to ruin it for anybody, but I have a big lump. You probably can't see it on video, but it's right there that has grown back into my chest while they've been poisoning me this way and poisoning me every night this way. And I have a lot more faith in God than I do these doctors and their medicine right now. That's just, it is what it is. But different type of video. Went and did my little cruise Saturday night. Had a fantastic time. It was an adventure, as it always is. Had friends up as far as Parkersburg, West Virginia. Guys I haven't seen nearly enough. Guys I haven't seen in 30 years. We got to eat our Casa del Taco, Casa Burritos, Casa Chef Salads, whatever the hell they're called, and had an absolute blast. I had a little short video. This is cancer cough. Had a little short video of me firing up the Malibu on there the other day, and she sounded legit, and she was happy, and she was ready to get out and stretch her legs. And so we went to Casa del. We ate. We drove, and I know a lot of you aren't familiar with Chillicothe, but this is not a very long ride. We went south on Bridge Street and basically worked our way down Water Street, and that new entrance in the park kind of jacked me up a little bit. I wasn't sure if you're allowed going in there or not, so I took Olentangy, and whoever the badge heavy cop is that was jumping in and out of $50,000 cars, I wish I knew who you were, because I would call you out. I have absolutely no tolerance for jackasses like you. I did the job a hell of a lot longer than you've done it, and I can tell you right now, I did it better. Have a little bit of respect for people. You know when you're busting somebody, and you know when you're jacking with somebody. And jacking with somebody gets you Mike Tyson'd on airplanes. Just a little tip from Uncle Heath. Ain't no reason to be that way. We weren't doing a damn thing. Hell, I was driving 15 mile an hour. Anyway, ran over. We go down around the city park there on Olentangy, I think it is, or Yaktangy. And I turned down into the park. As soon as I turned down into the park, the motor shuts off on the Malibu like somebody just unplugged it. I mean, it just, boom, done. So we coast down the hill, and we coast into, we called it Reefer Row. I don't know what that little road's called now. And we were able to pull over beside the lake and look at the ducks, and we hit the key on this thing, and fuel gauge is just sitting at zero, nothing. I was like, dude, you're out of gas. I'm like, well, Dad said he filled it up, and not to worry about it, and maybe I misunderstood him. So we pulled the deck lid off, because it's quite a chore, because this thing's got a fuel cell and everything. Well, it's got this foam-filled fuel cell, and to keep the gas from sloshing. Well, the only problem is you can't reach in there and get a level of how much fuel's in there because all the foam is wet, and you can't see. I don't know, maybe when it was new you could see the gas line in there, but I mean, this fuel cell was installed in 1987, so it's probably a little faded red. Anyway, we're just up shit creek, and so my buddy Joe, he actually goes and buys a fuel can, gets some fuel, and pours about maybe 4 gallons in this thing, and she's full. And I think it's like a 12-gallon fuel cell. So that would have worked out with driving in town and everything. So it wasn't a fuel situation, and we couldn't find anything. But still, we couldn't get past the fact that when you hit the key and fire up the fuel pump, zero. It's got to be that something's plugged or something. Well, long story short, Dad called me today. My MSD box took a crap on me, because that's the only thing that an MSD box will do consistently since about the year, I don't know, 2000, I guess. They need to get their stuff together. I guess I'll just send it back in for repair. I don't know what the alternative is. But I mean, this thing sits in a freaking garage. It's out of the weather. It's not mounted. I mean, it's mounted inside the car. It's it should not be failing, especially as much as these daggone things cost. Anyway, we're all kind of sitting there, and we kind of had a moment of divinity. Because, well, I believe that this whole thing was a moment of divinity. The friend I'm speaking of is Joe Lowers. If any of my friends remember Joe, we didn't necessarily make the best decisions when we were together, and historically speaking. And I'm pretty sure that it took God about an hour to get word that for the first time in about 30 years, Heath McDonald and Joe Lowers were cruising Chillicothe in a big block Chevelle. And it was like, burp, 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 burp. It was like, sound the alarm, shut this monster down, we gotta stop it now. And that's when my car quit. And I'm positive that's what happened. And God saved me from a busted rear end, at least a busted U-joint, twisted drive shaft, dropped valves, broken valve springs, smashed pistons. You know, hey, Dad, I don't think it's going to leak any oil out on the floor because it leaked it all out on the rollback. You know, things like that. So it was probably the best thing that could have happened to us. I think somebody's still looking out for me. And, but it was, I'll tell you what, man, having good friends and having good friends that have cool toys and tools is the best, because one of my friends that I haven't seen in like 30 years, and actually for the last 5 or 6 years, I thought he had passed away. And, but how do you ask that question, you know? And, so I was just kind of, and, he, recently his wife had posted about a Camaro, and I'm like, maybe he's still around, but still, how do you ask that? You know, how do you cross that bridge? I don't have the skills to. And, so I've just, but, yeah, dude showed up with a 69 Z28 Camaro. God love him. Got taste and everything. And, but he actually had a rollback, and he went all the way home and got his rollback and brought it back in and hauled me and dumped my little shit box right in the garage door. And it was a fantastic adventure. It's a hell of a lot better than telling everybody how Dad just looked at me and shook his head and couldn't believe I tore that thing up after 20 years. 30. Actually, that motor, we built that motor in the winter of 1990. It's got almost a 700-inch lift roller cam in it. It's probably only about 550 lift by now, because I'm sure the lifters have collapsed in that thing and everything else, and the valve springs and everything, because we've never backed the springs off of it. I crank her 6,700 every time I'm in it, but she still goes, and I don't know, she fires right up. She loves it. I just need to I want to get some new heads on her one day. And we're going to do this thing. We're going to put some heads on that dude. And I got a better torque converter. And I got to get Dave Lechner to set the rear end up in this thing. It's horrible. The pinion gear points down like a 3-bottom plow or something. I got to get everything all adjusted, and everything's at the limits of its adjustment. So everything needs to be cut out and welded back in. And I need somebody that knows what the heck they're doing, because the last guy didn't. He was one of the Mainer people. But anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But I want to thank everybody that came up. And I want to kind of chastise everybody that didn't come out. You know, not to see me. I don't care about that. But just damn, man. Chillicothe used to have some of the baddest hot rods around. And I know they're somewhere. They're lurking somewhere. And they want to run. Bring them out, man. Bring them out. Because I'll tell you what, I have a blast. Even on a good night, I bet I don't drive, I don't know. I don't drive 7 miles in town. I mean, I just go from parking lot to parking lot, sit, hang out with people that I ain't seen forever, talk BS, bench race, talk smack, whatever, and then go to the next parking lot. And it's an absolute blast. I love it. And so, yeah, guys, man, come out. Come out. I know the guy that organizes this, I don't know how much work he puts into organizing this, but I've organized enough things that to know that nothing comes easy. And so, you know, nothing else, man. Out of respect for what he's trying to do. come out there and support them. You know, there was quite a few cars at the, it wasn't a whole lot, but there was quite a few cars at the car show earlier that day. Just, you know, bring them out, roll them down the street, man. Park them in the parking lot. You know, maybe some 16, 17-year-old kid come in and is like, what in the world is that? That is the most badass car I've ever seen. And now we got another one. All right. So that's it, man. Short video, hopefully. Hell, it's already 10 minutes long. I'm sorry. But I'll have a update tomorrow again for my PET scan results tomorrow, my last chemo tomorrow, and then they're going to try to suck me into a bunch of more treatments. I don't know about that because nothing's working. And the big thing is, and I don't really care what anybody else's opinion is because this is all about me. I do not want to be sick every daggone day up to the day I die, if that's what happens. I would much rather feel fantastic for as long as I can, get sick and die. Just me. And honestly, at the end of the day, kind of my decision. But I got all I had all my chips on the big man, and I'm doing some work on that too, and had some tremendous breakthroughs actually, and that's going to be a third video that I will probably put out here in the next couple days. I'm in the middle of a book, and I'll tell you what, it is the book that I needed to read, and quite possibly the book that a lot of other people need to read. It's just wow. So that's it. I gotta go. See you on the range. Stay grumpy. Drive those hot rods. And be careful with your MSD boxes, I guess. Later.